a safe agreement is an instrument that was designed by an American incubator in order to make the process of investments run a little bit simpler. So it's a simple agreement for future equity is what it stands for. And the idea was if you created a boilerplate agreement which answered one or two questions in an investment, it would mean that investments would be a lot easier. And the main thing that the safe agreements that aim to fix was this idea of needing to set a valuation on a company. So, and because the process of valuing a company is not only complex and has lots of different opinions on the value, but it can also be a bit of an expensive process. So the idea of the safe was to say, cool, the investor will give you money now, and then we have the company valued at a future uncertain date, and at that point, we set the valuation, and the investor gets a discount. This was a really good boilerplate that was put in place, and it's worked really well. We've started to see these used very often in South Africa, but like with everything, people start to change the rules in them. And the boilerplate agreement that was created in America has now been changed and doctored and made relevant for South African law, different companies, and probably in jurisdictions all around the world. So I think the one thing that we lose is we lose that boilerplate nature that both the investor and the startup know that they don't need to get legal advice because they've got the boilerplate. But because the agreement is not made the agreement was made for US law, not South African law, we don't have that same sort of trusted, standardized document that everyone just knows they can trust. I think that's one of the issues with them. That being said, the instrument works really well and is a really smart instrument. It's not a completely novel concept. These sorts of agreements have always existed in commercial law. But I think the one value is the fact that it's simple and standardized and doesn't need legal guidance on it. So my advice, if anyone's going to use a safe, is first of all, you can't use the US safe because it references US law. And if you're going to be using a South African safe, just make sure that it's one that has been standardized to South African law, that keeps the simple nature, and like all legal agreements, that you understand what it does before you sign it.